Oversight functions. The heads of departments may, upon their own initiative, with the consent of the President, or upon the request of either House, as the rules of each House shall provide, appear before and be heard by such House on any matter pertaining to their departments. Written questions shall be submitted to the President of the Senate or the Speaker of the House of Representatives at least 3 days before their scheduled appearance. Interpellations shall not be limited to written questions, but may cover matters related thereto. When the security of the state or the public interest so requires, the appearance shall be conducted in executive session. Section 22 does not provide for a question hour. The question hour is proper to a parliamentary system where there is no separation between the legislative and executive department. Section 22, unlike in the question hour under the 1973 Constitution, has made the appearance of department heads voluntary. They can appear on their own initiative, with the consent of the President, or at the request of Congress. Because of the separation of powers, however, department secretaries may not impose their appearance upon either house. The power of oversight embraces all activities undertaken by Congress to enhance its understanding of and influence over the implementation of legislation it has enacted. It concerns post-enactment measures undertaken by Congress to monitor bureaucratic compliance with program objectives, to determine whether agencies are properly administered, to eliminate executive waste and dishonesty, to prevent executive usurpation of legislative authority, and to assess executive conformity with the congressional perception of public interest. Let us distinguish the right to conduct inquiry in aid of legislation and the oversight function of Congress. As to persons who may appear, any person may appear in an inquiry in aid of legislation, whereas only a department head is involved in the oversight function of Congress. As to who conducts the investigation, the committee or committees conduct inquiry in aid of legislation, whereas the entire body conducts the oversight function of Congress. As to the subject matter, any matter for the purpose of legislation is the subject matter of an inquiry in aid of legislation, whereas under the oversight function of Congress, it only pertains to matters related to the department only. As to the purpose, Congress has the power to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation, the aim of which is to elicit information that may be used for legislation. Whereas Congress has the power to question department heads, the objective of which is to obtain information in pursuit of Congress oversight functions. As to attendance, under the conduct of inquiry in aid of legislation, attendance is compulsory. Under the oversight function of Congress, attendance is discretionary, hence, it is valid for the President to require that consent be required first before his or her subordinates appear in Congress during the question hour. As to compelling power of Congress, the Congress can compel the attendance of executive officials under the right to conduct inquiry in aid of legislation, whereas under the oversight function of Congress, Congress cannot compel the appearance of executive officials if the required consent of the President is not obtained first, or if no such consent is given.